Under the current legislation known as the Effort Sharing Mechanism, EU member states have binding annual greenhouse gas emission targets for 2021 to 2030 for those sectors of the economy that fall outside the scope of the EU ETS. The purpose of this session is to provide an overview of expected regulatory changes and opportunities, as well as obligations towards business organizations. I would like to give a very warm welcome to Chiara Martinelli, Director of Climate Action Network Europe, Europe's leading NGO coalition fighting dangerous climate change, with over 170 member organizations active in 38 European countries, representing over 1,500 NGOs and more than 47 million citizens. CAN Europe promotes sustainable climate, energy, and development policies throughout Europe. Chiara, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this presentation. I guess I can share my screen, right? Okay, you are sharing. That's great. Okay, so you can go directly to the second slide. And I just wanted to say that I'm very happy and honored to join this event. Thanks a lot for the invitation. And I'm particularly glad because I think we are in a unique historical moment when it comes to tackle climate change and ensure that each and every one is supported, is equipped, is ready to make his own part. And I think today, more than ever, as we heard also in previous session, we need to strengthen alliances across sectors, across stakeholders, and business have a major role to play. To drive such a shift and contribute boldly to the need of a drastic emission reduction that could bring us to the change we wanted to see, that could bring us to a net zero society as soon as possible. So what I'm going to try to do today, like with this short input, is zooming out a moment in saying, like in highlighting why climate change matters to business actors, and why do we need such a contribution from the business sector, and also looking at the current negotiations and the current regulations that are discussed at the EU level as an opportunity for business sector to play the role that we need for our path towards 2030 and 2050. So if we go to the next slide, I just wanted to highlight like that indeed our climate is changing, and it's changing very quickly. And if we read the signs of the times, and if we read what we see, and in different contexts, we see like all these alarms that are coming out and are clear in front of our eyes on how the climate is changing. So I just wanted to say that in a way, pulling, let's say, bringing this alarm into our eyes also, and when. And what that means for economic losses. And I think this graph is self-explaining somehow. And thanks to the data that we got from the European Environmental Agency, we can see that between 1980 and 2020, climate-related extremes caused economic losses that bring to an estimated 487 billion euro in the EU 27 member states. So as you can see from the graph, like the economic loss that is related to how our climate is changing is important and is heavy and heavier. So even if analyzing such trends in economic losses is difficult, as you probably can teach me, partly and that's mainly because of a result of high variability from year to year. But what we can say clearly is that climate-related extremes are becoming more and more common. And without mitigation action, those extremes could result more and more in greater losses in the coming years. So if you go to the next slide, I just pull together some data that could give us a sense of the scale of emergency and the scale of action that we need. So indeed, unfortunately, we are in a path that there will be impact on our economy because of climate change. That is already there, is already on the table. But we do have the possibility, by increasing mitigating actions, to address such economic loss and shift the course and shift the speed of the curve. So I just wanted to stress from this slide that even if we look at the pledges and the promises that governments across the globe did today in terms of addressing climate change, still we will have a 14% GDP loss by 2050. And this we can't afford, because we are not even entering here in the discussion on who is paying the bill of such a loss, who is paying the bill of such a speed and such an increase of extremes in our society and in our economies. So there is this. I hope this slide is clear in calling all of us to increase the ambition, to increase the speed, including the European Union and the work that the European Union is doing at the moment. So indeed, if you move to the next slide, we can see that today at the European level, we are negotiating a set of files that proposes a unique set of objectives and plans to be implemented by 2030 and trying to address climate change and the climate crisis. It's the so-called Fit for 55 package. So what that means that just to zoom out a second, a couple of years ago, actually the European Union agreed on a climate target, the 55% greenhouse gas emissions reductions by 2030, and out of that climate law, the EU started put in place a process that is called the Fit for 55 package, that is negotiating how to make sure that we reach this climate target by 2030. So as can Europe, so as the civil society organization working across the European continent to call for ambitious climate action, what we are calling for towards the EU institution is to turn the Fit for 55 package into the Fit for 1.5 package. What that means? That means ensuring that the files we are currently negotiated are at the level of the urgency, at the level of the ambition that we need to reach. To limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees, as the Paris Agreement is asking us to do. So if I move a little bit quicker, I guess.
Yes, just a gentle reminder, just a minute left of your time. Thank you.
How much, sorry?
1 minute.
Oh my God. Okay. So I just wanted to say then in this 1 minute that the Fit for 55 package is offering businesses great opportunities, mainly through two instruments, the emission trade system and the effort sharing regulation. And as you can see from this graph, it's really about protecting the integrity of the ambition we wanted to call about, but also looking at specific sectors in the way forward.
Thank you, Chiara, for your time and your insights.